up as part of the island state's deposit into a visionary global seed bank.
Over the course of the project, we're aiming to collect between 800 and 1,000 species. Each of those collections is ultimately we'll collect 20,000 from each species, but that's going to be impossible for a lot of different species.
Saving species from extinction is the motivation for the painstaking, often tedious seed harvesting now underway in every state of Australia, and also in the drylands of at least 20 other countries around the world. It's a crusade led by the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew in the UK. By 2010, it wants 24,000 species locked up in safekeeping here at West Sussex.
It's not about empire building. This is about true international collaboration, and it's a big success story.
Tim Pearce, International Coordinator for the Millennium Seed Bank program, says in the mid-90s, advances in technology made it possible to keep some seeds for hundreds of years.
Coincided also with a statement from one of our eminent botanists saying that by 2010, it's likely that we could lose 10% of the world's flora. Well, we thought, well, we can do something about that. We think we can actually make an impact on that awful scenario.
Salinity and land clearing are major threats to plant species in Australia. In the West, botanists have also been battling to protect species doomed by Phytophthora, a fungal infection which attacks root systems. WA's existing seed collection and conservation programs have been accelerated by the partnership with Kew. It's going to contribute 2,000 species. Nearly half has already been tagged and bagged.
Well, I mean, this collection here is probably part of what would have been 3 years full-time work, some hundreds of thousands of kilometres of travel by staff.
What really pleases David Coates from the Department of Conservation and Land Management is that the Millennium project produces 2 priceless seed reservoirs for Australia and the UK.
If anything ever happens to the seed in one spot, you have a backup for the material. Ultimately, of course, this material will be, although it'll be stored for perhaps a long period of time, will be placed back either for reintroductions for some of the rare and threatened species, or it'll be used in revegetation programs.
Researchers with staff from Kings Park Botanic Gardens are heartened by promising trials of the regeneration of critically endangered plants like the red-leafed honeysuckle. The viability of dormant seeds is continually monitored.
For example, this acacia, you can see the roots just coming out of there of the seed coat there, so we'd score that one as germinated.
The key to more reliable germination and safe seed delivery to the UK is careful handling.
Vacuum packed effectively inside these containers here with carbon dioxide in there as well, which helps retain the seed viability and also prevents any bugs and that sort of thing from getting into the seed as well. And when we move into the main vault, which is the main collection, if you like, this is minus 20 degrees. This is where the material can be stored for for decades, perhaps even longer than that.
Upon delivery in England, each batch is again carefully dried, cleaned and frozen.
We can store it in some sort of suspended animation. We have the material here such that we can reintroduce when that's absolutely necessary.
Kew's wish list is for 7,000 species from Australia. Its multi-million-dollar funding for collection and research is expected to significantly improve Australian vegetation management.
It's sort of the ultimate in terms of the sort of work we do. I guess many of us have spent our lives looking at declining populations, declining species in the southwest from West Australia or even in Australia. Now we're looking at trying to actually reintroduce things and recreating what's been removed or what's been destroyed, and I suppose that's the ultimate challenge for us.
And for those species not yet on the brink of extinction, this project appears the best form of insurance.
It's a bit like a Noah's Ark for plants. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Kew's first order of Tasmanian endemic seeds is being processed at the Royal Botanic Gardens. Manager Mark Fountain says the global conservation project has created a radical local learning curve.
Every plant presents its own problems in terms of extraction and storage, so we've got a lot to learn, really.
The more immediate challenge, though, is tracking down all those different types of seed, some of them minuscule. At last count, Micah Vasoyu had at least 750 samples waiting out there in the bush. but is inspired by the chase.
Some of the seeds I collect may still be around in a couple of 100 years. It's going to be such a brilliant resource.
Jocelyn Nettlefold, and